You got the window, cuz.
This window right here?
Yeah, this window right here, cuz. Keep going, cuz.
Okay, good afternoon. Task Force Falcon detectives have charged two people following shooting into a premises in Punchbowl on the weekend. About 2:20 p.m. on Saturday the 6th of June, multiple shots were fired from a vehicle into a premises on Canterbury Road, Punchbowl. It is believed that a semi-automatic rifle was used. The premises were unoccupied and no persons were injured. A short time later, police were called to Gillian Place, Punchbowl, and found an SUV on fire at that location. This was the vehicle that was used in this offence. Following extensive inquiries by Task Force Falcon, a 17-year-old boy was stopped in a motor vehicle on yesterday, and he was charged with offences relating to that shooting. He was charged with firearm at a dwelling, for organised criminal activity, damage property by fire, be carried in a conveyance without consent of owner, and participate in a criminal group and contribute to criminal activity. We allege that this 17-year-old male was the person who fired close to 30 rounds from that vehicle on Saturday the 6th of June. From about 6 p.m. yesterday on Monday, Task Force Falcon, with the assistance of Public Order Squad and Raptor Squad, executed search warrants at Aids and Busby, where police seized ammunition and also a magazine that we allege is from an assault rifle. A 23-year-old man was arrested at the Busby residence, and he was charged with firearm at a dwelling, disregarding the safety of the public, participate in a criminal group and contribute to criminal activity. We allege the 23-year-old assisted those involved in the shooting pre and post the offence. The location at Punchbowl is a reception centre that was going to host a wake for Lorenzo Lemalu on Saturday the 6th of June, though this event was cancelled prior to commencing. Those that were to attend the wake were obviously the intended targets of this shooting due to their association with Mr. Lemalu.
Was the event cancelled because they somehow knew there might be an attack, or was it cancelled? Was it just dumb luck that it got moved?
Yeah, the organiser, in consultation with the police, in consultation with the people that are going to hold the event, decided that the risk was too great for it to go ahead.
A video of the shooting surfaced afterwards. The main committed speaking in this video. Did this help police identify these two men arrested?
There was a number of factors that assisted us in arresting those people. That footage, which we've seen, shows, if anything, a total disregard for public safety. They were laughing throughout. Close to 30 rounds were shot into this premises. They had no indication if it was occupied or not. It was the great investigative work by Task Force Falcon detectives that led to the arrest of these two persons. And there are still more to be arrested for this offence.
Do police believe these two people have known links to one criminal organisation, or if they were hired to carry this out by somebody else?
Yeah, we were alleged they were hired to conduct this shooting. They were, for want of a better term, contract criminals. They were conducting this violent and dangerous act for monetary gain.
We know Mr. Lemalu was associated with the Coconut Cartel. Do we know who organised this hit on his funeral?
They're obviously in conflict with other organised crime networks. Specifically, who was responsible for this is still to be determined and is still part of the investigation.
Obviously, they've had quite a public dispute with the Al-Madines, many of whom, the most senior, are overseas in Lebanon, some recently going over there. How difficult does that make, really cutting the head off this snake?
It is a challenge. It's always difficult when part of the criminal activity and the organising, the facilitation is by people that are offshore, though, as can be seen in this instance, those that were responsible were arrested within a day. Two people are before the courts, their bail refused, and there's another offender that we're looking for, which we will arrest soon.
You've obviously worked in sort of gangland crime for a long time. How common is it to see a funeral be targeted by a drive-by shooting?
You can see the level of disregard that's happened recently, where relatives of organised crime network figures have been shot. They've shot in the homes of relatives, they've shot into the homes of partners. There's been close calls with children being shot, there's been activity in public areas. So for them to attend a location like this and fire indiscriminately at a location that may have been occupied is consistent with the total disregard they've shown recently and the lack of concern they have for the public. You know, we have juveniles, as in this case, a 17-year-old's been arrested for firing close to 30 rounds into this premises. No concern. If anyone was in there, there could have been multiple fatalities. So I'm not surprised that they have done this now.
On that point as well, they filmed their own crime and then posted it online themselves, was our understanding. This kind of posting and boasting, is that also new escalation in the brazenness of the behavior of these criminals?
I think it shows, you know, that the significance of social media at this point of time, where they believe they can post their activities without it being traced back to them. That's obviously also authenticates what they've done to whoever's paying them the money to commit these acts. It's there for them to review and see that it's actually been conducted. And it also is a boast, yes. But, you know, these means weren't available 15, 20 years ago, but they are now, so they utilise that to promote what they've done.
The funeral did go ahead on Sunday. Were there any security scares that police got on top of before it happened?
No, there was a major police presence there and there were no issues at all through the funeral.
So is it alleged that the 23-year-old was then the driver of the vehicle and the 17-year-old is the one, you already clarified he's the one who was shooting the gun, but was the 23-year-old the driver?
No, the 17-year-old was the shooter.
Yeah.
And the 23-year-old, we allege, assisted him and another person before the incident and after the incident. He assisted them through providing the means to commit this act and was fully aware of what happened. That's why he's been charged with the same offence.
So police are still looking for, theoretically, the driver of that car?
That's correct.
And was there a third person filming as well, or was it 3 total in the car?
2 in the car, we allege. Yeah, the driver who filmed the incident and the person who was doing the shooting, who we've arrested.
You mentioned that you believe the people that were meant to be inside the funeral at the time were the targets. I know it's hard to speak this early on, but do we think that this was to hurt them or to send a message to whoever's left within that cartel? You know, do you think the intention was to kill people or to send such a big public message?
Yeah, it'd be safe to assume that if you're firing 30 rounds into a building, there's every probability that you're going to kill or seriously hurt somebody. I think that was the intention, that they were going to cause harm, but it also does send a message whether they, you know, unfortunately, if they do cause significant harm or they strike someone or they don't, it still sends the message. But you'd have to think that 30 rounds into a premises they thought was occupied was the intention to cause a great deal of harm to those inside.